We are into the festive period of the Premier League, and Arsenal have opened up a tiny lead at the top. Manchester City are somehow 6 points off the top. Aston Villa are going for 15 straight home wins, and the fixtures are now coming quick and fast. And we here on the Plus Money Podcast are giving back to you this holiday season. I am going to have a prop for all 10 EPL matches here on the best soccer betting podcast you can get in 15 minutes or less. I'm Andrew Passaro. He's Ani Sridhar. Like I said, we're going to hit all 10 games, so we're going to jump right into it. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the Plus Money Pod, at Andrew Passaro, at Ani323. Weekend opens early Saturday morning. Crystal Palace taking on Liverpool. There's two things I like here. Liverpool and over 2.5 is plus 105, and Salah anytime goal scorer is plus 120. He's sitting on 149 Premier League goals and 199 goals for Liverpool. So his next goal, that shirt's coming off. So if you can bet cards wherever you are gambling, Mo Salah yellow card anytime, probably a good prop because you know he's going to show off the abs. Let's jump to Manchester United taking on Bournemouth. And I have, there's two things I like here as well. Both teams to score and over 9.5 corners. Bournemouth have scored a goal in 8 straight matches. That's coming in at plus 123. And then over 11.5 corners at plus 104 in their last 5 matches. The corner total for Bournemouth is 12, 14, 11, 11, and 13. And then Man United at 16, 10, 8. That's a Champions League game, 11, 14, and their last Premier League game is 13. So 12 corners is a lot of corners, but the numbers are there. Trust the data. Sheffield United taking on Brentford. Brentford minus 125 on the money line. Anytime you can get a team at minus 130 against Sheffield, you got to take it. You can get Brentford plus money if you add over 1.5. But I will say Sheffield was somewhat decent in Chris Wilder's return when Liverpool took on Sheffield in the midweek. And let's get to Brighton taking on Burnley. I've got Brighton money line and over 8.5 corners at plus 119. Ani, I know you have a pick for this one as well.
Yeah, I didn't know if I was gonna be able to talk on this podcast.
a lot of picks. Got to get them in quick.
Got to get them on. Yeah, I've got Brighton money line and the over 2.5 at minus 104. I was gonna squeeze in the both teams to score, but unsure on Burnley's ability to be. It's like the one Brighton matchup where I don't think I'm gonna go there, but we do know that Brighton can score, and obviously they're going to rotate their lineup again. It's going to be very different than what they had in the midweek and their 2-1 win over Brentford. But yeah, they should win this game comfortably at home, and I like them to score goals. And I think they can get 3 on their own, but even if they concede, it'll help the total, and they'll win.
Nottingham Forest travel to Wolves. This is a little bit of a Midlands derby. Two teams that are it's not the same rivalry as like Wolves versus Aston Villa or Birmingham City, but these teams I think are geographically somewhat close to each other. I'm going Wolves money line minus 120. I do also like Wolves in over 1.5 at plus 120, but that kind of screwed me in the middle of the week when they only won 1-0. So with the number at minus 120, I think I'm just going to ride with that for a weekend that I have so much that I love. Wolves have been getting decent results. Another win on the board in the middle of the week. And they're still without the leading assist player in the Premier League in Pedro Neto, but getting points nonetheless. And Forest got absolutely drilled by Fulham, a 5-0 loss. What do you like from this one?
Yeah, I'm on the same page as you. Wolves minus 120. We've said it multiple times on this podcast how bad Forest are traveling, and they're a much better team at home. I think Forest might get relegated, to be honest, this year. I know Luton are bad and Sheffield are really bad, but Forest have not looked good at all recently. And I could see Luton, finishing above Forest and Forest going down this year. It truly wouldn't be a surprise to me. And if Burnley kind of figured things out, I still think they're a decent side. They haven't played to their potential. Kompany is a pretty decent manager as well. So Forest don't pick things up here. They are very much in danger of going down.
You know what it is for them? It's their leading striker, Taiwo Awoniyi, is out, and
it's huge.
Not that he scores tons of goals. I mean, he has I think 4 goals in the Premier League and a couple assists, but he just is such a direct player for a team with the style that they play that losing him has really hurt them. and they don't have another player kind of like that on the roster, but they have splashed a lot of money since they've come up. So I wouldn't be surprised if they try to go get someone on loan or whatever come January. But yes, I kind of agree. Here's the problem is that Luton and Sheffield, they're bad. Burnley's bad. And then, Everton with the points deduction, I kind of think Wolves will be, or Forest will be okay, but we'll see. There's so much time left to go. Let's go to what's sneakily the best game of the weekend. And I think after what happened in the midweek, this is the must-watch game of the weekend. Unai Emery's Aston Villa will host his old side, Arsenal. Aston Villa have won 14 straight at home, and Arsenal are just the team that you cannot put away. They were down 3-2 to Luton in the midweek, come back and get a 97th minute winner to win 4-3. Declan Rice doing the business. Arsenal seem to just, lots of last second drama all season, even going back to last season. But Villa with 14 straight at home, they didn't just beat Manchester City in the midweek. They dominated Manchester City. I think they only had 2 or 3 shots on target. Holland early, and then it fell apart after that. I did give out Aston Villa. I did give out Aston Villa double chance, which came through plus 110. And I think we've said it before, but Rodri is easily the most important player on this Manchester City team. When he's not out there, you have to bet on you have to take the opponent, because every single time it seems like they're dropping points, Rodri's not in that starting lineup. So we'll talk about City a little later in the podcast, but I am going to take Villa Tino bet at plus 150. Both teams are scoring over 2.5 is minus 120. And I do like over 10.5 corners at plus 128. I'm going to play the Villa Tino bet because, again, they've won 14 straight at home. At plus 150, I'm going to take that number. I really like the corners. I kind of looked it up that in the bigger games, both these teams tend to have a lot of corners, and I think this is going to be somewhat of a frantic game. But what do you think?
We're on the same page again. I've got Aston Villa Tino bet plus 150. It's the Unai revenge game. Villa look pretty sound. Arsenal, yes, they're eking out victories, but I mean, they're eked out a victory against Luton. They almost blew it late against Wolves. Like, I don't think we've still seen a complete Arsenal performance in the last couple of weeks. And I mean, they've already won the cup. Surely they don't bottle it this year. I mean, it's over. It's a wrap. Arsenal have already won it. So let's just move on to our next pick.
This is actually my favorite play of the weekend. It's Fulham taking on West Ham, London derby. Do you know how many goals Fulham have scored in their last 4 matches?
Is it 5 all against Forest in one game?
No, because they went to Anfield and scored.
They did score 3. Yeah, you're right.
And then, they had a match before that where they scored a bunch of goals. They've scored 12 goals in their last 4 games and given up 9 in that stretch. They're taking on West Ham, a team who we know that both teams to score. We are recording this on Thursday before that has come through, but we know that a West Ham team to both teams to score is a lock because their defense stinks. We know that the Fulham defense isn't great. I love Tim Ream because he's American, but he's old and shouldn't be starting for a Premier League caliber team week in, week out. The over 3.5 is plus 205.
Ooh, that's a juicy number.
That's an insane. Like I said, Fulham have done that by themselves.
Correct.
In the last match. I'm running to the counter to put in Fulham, to put in over 3.5 plus 205 in this match. Both teams to score in over 2.5 is minus 105. That's also great value too. Let's jump to Everton. They're taking on Chelsea. This was really tough for me because I wouldn't be betting this game if this wasn't a weekend where my girlfriend is out of town and I'm deciding to bet every single match. I'm going to go just to over 10.5 corners at plus 116. This just kind of screams as a game that, one of these teams gets 6 corners, the other one gets 5. But I did think about Cole Palmer anytime goal or assist, I think was a plus number. He's been playing really well. But you just never know which Chelsea team is going to show up right now. And and I could kind of say the same thing about Everton. So I just went to corners. But what do you think? What do you think your Blues are going to do after coming off a rough loss to Manchester United?
Yeah, Chelsea money line plus 125. it's just value. I'm just value-based betting here. At the end of the day, when you put the team against each other, Chelsea should be the better team on the pitch this weekend. And I think when you're getting them at plus money, it's great value. And yes, they got smoked by Man United, but they played a lot better in that game than they did against Newcastle, which is a positive. It's silver lining, I guess. In Newcastle, they looked like they didn't even want to be out there, which was just depressing to watch as a fan. But against United, they had their chances. They missed a lot of opportunities. Nico Jackson, yet again, struggling up top. I think we're just a couple weeks away, maybe a week away from getting Christopher Nkunku back and starting for Chelsea, which will be a huge boost to their team. So I'm taking the money line here plus 125, but also wouldn't be shocked if they lost. So do with that what you will.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's two teams that I have no idea what to expect. Let's go to Luton. They're taking on Manchester City. Obviously one of the smallest, stadiums in the league. And I'll be honest, trying to find a good number here in terms of goals and whatever is very difficult. I went to where I've been going a lot all day, going to the corners. Corners in home Luton EPL matches this season. 11, 9, 11, 13, 11, 15, 11. Over 10.5 corners is plus 128. That, like I said, that's come in all but one match this season. You've got the tighter pitch. Over 9.5 corners is minus 120 as well. So ton of value there. I do think City roll here and get a victory. I don't think it matters who they play in midfield, but I was struggling to find value.
I took the over 3.5 at minus 102 because I could see City come out here and just 5-0 victory at Luton. They need a statement game. City are slipping. That's now I think 3 straight results for them where
I think it's 4.
So they lost to Villa, draw against Tottenham, draw against Chelsea.
Missed the draw against Liverpool coming off the international break.
So that's four straight games where they haven't won a match. This is the Pep Guardiola get right. We're gonna put Luton in their place match. Like it has to be, in my opinion. Like I think as a 1-0 victory here for City is like
that's not good enough.
It doesn't do anything to me. Like to move the needle, like, City are back type shit. Like I need to see City win 4-0 or 5-0 to be like, okay, that's everyone relax. Like this was just a little, rut in their game. City are still City, but at over 3.5 at minus 102 I think that's good value.
What do you think Erling Haaland to score a hat trick is?
Plus 580, plus 700
on the dot. You nailed it.
Damn.
At plus 700.
What's 2 goals? Because I'll take 2 goals at like plus 300. I think that's decent value.
To score 2 or more, only plus 210.
See, that's just not.
But this screams Haaland hat trick.
Yeah, I mean, I could see. Yeah, I mean, like I could see it 100%. Like I could see it, but 700 doesn't scream value. That's the problem here, right? Like,
yeah,
it screams Haaland definitely hat trick, but like at 700, I'm not getting enough value for what I'm betting here. Like, it's asking for way too much. Like, I'd rather like bet the over 3.5 City spread and Haaland to score 2 goals and maybe get like a plus 800 or something. I'm going to put that in now and see what I get. But I'd rather do that than bet on one guy to score 3 goals at plus 700.
I totally get you. Let's go to Tottenham. They're taking on Newcastle in a matchup of both teams crying, "No, I'm more injured. No, I'm more injured." I have 2 parlays here because I really don't know who's going to win this game. Mind you, both teams are playing right now as we tape this podcast. At plus 127, 26 shots and over 9.5 corners, or over 9.5 corners and a shot anytime, and a Son anytime shot on target is plus 127. If you add 23 shots to that, it's plus 160. I do think that's going to be a sneaky good game. I just really have no idea who wins it. Like I said, it's a busy weekend. We come out of this weekend and then we go right back to the final match day of the Champions League. And then we'll have the following weekend, and then we're like a week away from the weekend of before Christmas and then Boxing Day and New
Boxing
Year's.
Day. Yep.
It's going to get very crazy. And then additionally, you're going to see most likely, I think Heung-min Son and Mo Salah will both be leaving in January, as will a lot of the
break.
other. Well, yeah, not even just international break. You've got the Asian Cup and you've got the AFCON.
AFCON, yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to be huge. And by the way, I think you gave this out on the pod last season. For the first time all year, I checked the futures market. Man City are a plus money to win the league. They are officially plus 105. So
I'm just saying it worked out last year.
yeah, I do think.
But Arsenal have already won it this year. The lead's too big. Like the title's a wrap. They've
Yeah,
already won the title.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
over.
it's not like they have to travel to Anfield on December 23rd, which I'm pretty sure is going to be my game of the year part 2.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter who they play now. They've already won the title. It's over.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys as always for following and listening. I do want to say, I got some of the Spotify Wrapped. I know that this is like more than a few people's top podcast, and the fact that we are making this on a shoestring budget, that's really cool. So thank you guys as always for listening and for supporting, for watching on the YouTube. And if you are watching on YouTube, if you could like the video and subscribe, that'd be a huge help to us. Leave a 5-star review on any of the podcast apps. And scheduling has been a little tough of late, but we're going to do the best we can to make sure that if there's no podcast, there's picks on our socials. So just make sure you're following at Angel Passaro, at the Plus Money Pod, at Ani 323. Enjoy your weekend. Best of luck. Let's try to stay positive, and hopefully I don't lose all my money.